yogis. Today we are going to break down Varjasana, or thunderbolt pose is sometimes how it's known, but we're going to go over that pose as well as some variations and a few ankle openers within these variations. So this is a bit of a flow, a bit of a sequence, not our normal pose breakdown. Some of you may be looking at me right now like I am kind of in Varjasana, but before we get there, I want to warm up the ankle as it is very important. A lot of us tend to be very tight, either in the heel or in the ankle, and it is a very delicate joint. So you don't want to force it into anything, and you don't want to just go right into something if you are feeling a little bit of discomfort there. Now remember, it's important to listen to our bodies. I cannot feel what you are feeling. So if you do feel a little bit of strain or it does feel like it's too much, just back off a little bit. Today we will be using some props. Once again, I have my trusty strap. If you don't have one, then you have a blanket or a scarf, a towel as well. Go ahead and grab it. We do also have blocks. You really should only need one today. I don't imagine us using both. I just always have two. So to get started, we're going to start in hero's pose, seated with our legs out in front of us. Hi, Coco. Once again, making sure that we're on our sit bones and not on the knee, but really move that out of the way. And first working to find length here. So feet are flexed towards our face for a little bit of a stretch here. This is also helping to stretch our Achilles tendon, or the back of our heels, the top of our heels. And we're going to grab our strap for this. Now, keep in mind, our strap is not used to force anything. We're simply using this tool as a gentle aid. So, slipping it just below the toes very gently, helping to guide the toes more towards our face. You should have a very, very loose grip here, just a gentle stretch. But then what we're going to do here, and I encourage you to move through your breath, is we're going to flex the feet towards us and then unflex. Flex, unflex, flex, unflex, flex, unflex. So we're simply doing this to warm up the backs of our feet, the Achilles tendon, as well as the ankle and the front of the feet. So feeling the joint getting nice and warm now, which is good. That's what we want. And then from here, we're going to sit, and we're going to go cross-legged. You may want your block here to keep your hips a little bit more comfortable, because this is a bit of a hip opener as well. So if you need it, go ahead and grab it. If you're not sure, go ahead and grab it. But we're going to start first, even though I'm left-handed, we're going to start with the right one first. So your left leg is crossed in front of you. And now you're going to take the right leg and you're going to cross the right ankle over that left knee with the foot hanging off slightly and moving our left foot in front of it. So this can be a little intense. You can feel it on your knees, you can feel it in your hips. So if it feels comfortable, go ahead and put a block underneath that knee for a little bit of support. Go ahead and figure out your height, first height, second height. You may be more comfortable with the third height. I usually tend to go with the second. Now, with this, we're going to feel a little bit of an opening already in the ankle, and then just taking our hand, not using our leg muscles, we're going to push the foot into a flexed position and then pull it into an unflexed position. We're going to take it from one side, take it to the other, push it flexed, bring it to unflexed, pointing the toe, taking the foot left, taking the foot right, just gently moving around that joint. So once again, starting to feel it opening up. You may feel some tension popping and unpopping in there. Just really feeling it. Okay. And now we're going to take the block away if you have one, put it off to the side. And then we're going to take this leg down. So have the right leg on the ground, and now we are going to cross our left ankle over our right knee. Once again, the foot hanging off just slightly, and if you feel like you need a block, go ahead and grab one. You may need a block on this side, and you didn't need one on the other side. Everything is different, every day is different, so it's important to listen to our bodies. Of course, one side is generally more open than the other. Once again, gently grabbing that foot, taking it to a flex, then pointing the toes down, using your hand, not using the calf or anything like that to move it. We're just gently guiding it with our hand to help open that joint. You may feel like this one is a little more tense than the other one. For me, my left side, for some reason, or at least here, is a little bit more difficult to move. I do feel more tension in this ankle than in my other ankle. So I'm just going to move it a little bit more, just to help open it a little bit further since it does feel tighter. Okay. Once again, taking our block and moving it away, we're now going to start to move towards Varjasana. So to get there, we're going to get to our knees. First, to begin the opening, I want you to place your toes down on the mat. So look at me, I have my knees hip distance apart, okay? My toes are flexed, my toes are the only thing touching the mat right now. And then we're gonna sit down here. Now, this may not be the most comfortable for you. Bear with me for just a moment if you can. If you cannot, that's fine, don't do it. Skip ahead. But you should feel a little bit of stretch in your foot, okay? And then we're gonna work our shoulders up and around, inhaling them up and down, and then taking them the other way. This is me just distracting you from the fact that your feet probably hate you right now. Okay, so now we're gonna take our block and we're gonna sit on it at whatever height feels best for you. I think I'm gonna put mine on the third height for now. And you can always change it. But on the third height, I want you to first check in here. Now, my feet are flat on the mat. So the tops of my feet are laying on the mat as if you are pointing your toes. So they're in line with the legs here. But we're sitting on a block, so we're not putting a ton of pressure on that joint just yet. The block helps us alleviate a lot of that pressure. So if you do feel extra tight and it's not comfortable for you, I recommend getting a block and first practicing the pose here. So feeling heavy in the sit bones, still working our knees together, finding length in our spine, a nice lift in the chest, a lift in the crown. Inhaling your arms up high, exhaling them, sweeping them down behind you. Inhaling arms up high, exhale, sweeping down behind you. Inhaling arms up high, exhaling them down behind you. And then gently releasing them at your sides. Still finding that lift. Feeling the gentle opening in our ankles without the pressure of our body here. Taking our palms, interlacing them behind us, and pushing down as we lift up out of the chest. working our shoulder blades down and together. And then exhale, gently releasing, rolling it out. So now we're going to shift forward and we're going to remove our block out from under us. Just for a moment. And we're going to cross our ankles. So we're going to first cross our left ankle or our right ankle over our left. So this is my right foot. It's over top of the left foot. If you still feel like you're a little nervous, grab your block, but otherwise we're going to sit our hips back on top of these crossed ankles, trying to still work our knees together, heavying the sit bones and finding still that length in our spine. So as you can see here, the right foot is crossed. The ankle is over the left. So our left is underneath the right here. And we're sitting back onto that heel. Remembering to breathe here and to keep our tailbones, our sit bones, nice and heavy as we ground down. So if this pose feels like it's a little too much, it's too much in the ankles, go ahead and try to uncross the ankles and just sit back on the heels. Still grounding down into your sit bones on top of your heels, finding that length in the spine, finding that lift in our chest and in our crown. Again, inhaling the arms up high. Exhale, sweeping them behind you. Unless there's a cocoa in your way. Inhaling arms up high. Exhale, sweeping behind you. Inhaling high. Exhale, sweeping back behind you. And then bringing them down, resting at your sides. Now, only if you feel comfortable, shifting our weight back up, and now crossing our left ankle over the right, and sitting back down onto that heel. Finding that lift. And now inhaling back up, taking the feet back flat, and this time taking them again as wide as your hips. And then we're going to sit down in between the ankles, only if they feel open enough. Sitting down in between so that our ankles are on each side of our sit bones. Now if you can't see because I have a cocoa in the way, please stand by. Okay. So, sitting down in between. If this feels too intense, please grab your block and go ahead and place it. Try to place it on the lowest height if you can, and then right underneath you, still working your knees together and working your feet as wide as your hips, because eventually we do want to be able to sit down in between them. Now, if you do not need the block, perfect. Go ahead and sit down into the stretch and feel it. And then if you feel comfortable here, try reclining back onto the elbows. So now that we've reclined back, we're still working our knees together and we're pushing the hips up slightly. So we don't want to be sinking down here and hurt our back. We want to push up through the hips. You can even kind of play with it up and down just to see if you have that movement and that mobility. But breathing into this stretch. The moment we lose our breath is the moment we lose our asana. So breathe. If you're on your forearms, go ahead and bring yourself back up. And then from here, let's take a cross-legged position. Okay. So we just did a lot of intense ankle work. So we want to go ahead and kind of bring it back a little bit, counteract those poses. So let's go ahead and grab our strap again. Sitting in staff pose, working those toes towards us. So they're probably a little bit tired, so giving them a bit of a help with our strap. Once again, the strap is just more of a guidance as you gently work to flex your toes towards your face. You should have a very nice loose grip here, not the grip of doom, but a nice lax grip, just to help a little bit more. Feeling that nice stretch. This should feel very good after everything that we just did for our ankles. So breathing into it. And then gently releasing our strap down. And then what I like to do is take first one leg crossed over, and once again using my hand, not my ankle, and not my calf muscle, and just nicely rotating the foot. What this also does is it helps us learn to release the tension here. So when we're not using our leg or ankle muscles to move it and we're using our hand, that means that we have to lax these muscles. So go ahead and see if you can't do that. Release that tension and allow your hand to guide your foot around that joint, and then moving it the opposite way. Finding that little bit of lax. And then uncrossing and crossing the other foot. Once again, seeing if you can't release that tension and allow your hand to be what guides the movement, moving one way and then the other. If you're feeling a little bit of popping in the joints, that is totally okay, as long as it doesn't cause you any pain. Yoga may make us uncomfortable at times, but it should not be causing you pain. There is a difference between being uncomfortable and being in pain. Okay, and then some Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. So bringing the soles of the feet together. Sitting up with length in the spine. So I like to hold my ankles after this when I'm in Baddha Konasana, and I honestly like to put a little bit of tension on them. So I put a little bit of a grip on them. To me it feels so great, but if it doesn't feel good to you, go ahead and just place your palms on top of your knees. Maybe help guide them to the ground a little bit. Breathing in and then exhaling out. Perfect. So my last pose that I'm going to have you practice just to counteract Varjasana is Malasana.
Into toe stand.
Starting with our knees bent, underneath us, just on our toes, and I'm going to have you work the heels together. So working the heels together, working the feet together, and then working the hips apart. If this is too much for you and you're like, I can't balance, I'm going to fall, grab your block. Go ahead and use it. Still working your knees apart, your hips open. I did not mean your hips apart. I know that is impossible. But go ahead and open up the hips, taking the knees apart, using your block for support if you need to. If you don't, awesome. Balance. And then go ahead, release your knees down. Sit however you feel comfortable. working everything, releasing it out. So I thank you for joining me in this quick sequence, this quick flow to open up those ankle joints, release some tension from the day, sitting, walking, standing, running, releasing the tension of life out of our ankles. If you have anything that you would like to see, whether it be a pose breakdown or a flow for something that you would like, go ahead and comment below. Please subscribe to the channel in order to receive notifications of any new post, and I look forward to starting this journey with you.